These are the main options, so to speak, the main scenarios. There's, of course, other versions of what I've said, but these are kind of the main ways to how you individually will ascend. Now, there's no better or worse. Do you realize that, of course, the last one that I've mentioned sound very cool, but if you're going to beat yourself up and say, I hope this is me and I kind of want to do that, and of course, I think you should ask if you want to, but if that's not your case, then you are creating your own blocks and your own thing, then it is really not helping. The idea is that for you to now tap into your own guidance system and say and understand that even if you were to shed your body and transition into another body, or transition or simply head back home, regardless, you are ascending. Do you understand? You are ascending anyway to this new level, and this is a very unique opportunity. So please don't allow your human mind to focus on the little stuff or on the fear stuff, and look at the bigger picture and realize that this is a very unique moment for you in your own awakening, and to go to your heart center later, maybe as we are doing the global meditation, we will also see if we can bring some clarity for you individually. And the idea, like I said, is to bring it back to you individually. No two individual on the planet, even though we all look human right now, obviously, no two humans are the same. It's impossible. It doesn't even make sense, because we all were created differently, and we come from different places in the universe, even from this planetary system. And even if most of us were to come from the Earth and reincarnate over and over, every single time we would still not be the same. So if we are not the same, it is then impossible for us to create the same reality. Therefore, it's impossible for us to master the human condition in the same way, at the same pace, at the same rate, of course. And if that is the case, then it's impossible for all of us to have the exact same way to ascend. So that is what I'm saying. It is a very unique thing. It's a very private. It's your personal connection with who you really are. Your higher self, and your connection back to source and to your creator. And so you can ask for your individual ascension to be exactly what it is, to be the most graceful, the most comfortable, and whatever it is, accept that this is what you are choosing. If you're choosing to stay and be bumped up to the higher frequencies, so to speak, then that is what you have chosen, but it's not necessarily better than shedding your body and coming back in another body. It is not necessary, which is not necessarily better than, shedding this body and heading back home, which is not necessarily better than ascending into your light body, and so on and so forth. It is what it is. There is no comparison. You are unique, and your ascension is your own. So in the meantime, what do we do? What do we do today other than focus on allowing our consciousness to continue to expand and to take us where we need to go next? That is really the most important thing. So how do we deal with this? After we finish this webcast, what do we do tonight? What do we do tomorrow? How do we continue? It's really, really very easy. We've been doing this. I've been saying this. What we have to do is simply connect to source. It is the simplest, easiest way to continue to stay on track, because source, the center of this local universe, is the frequency that contains all of life forms, including yours. It is your creator form. It is your life force. You have sprung from that place. So why not go back to who you really are, to headquarters, to your original home? Tap into your original home, not the tree, not the planet, not the ocean, not some star system next door. Your creator, the energy that has created you, that has made you, is the energy form that gives you all of the answers, gives you exactly the frequency that you need every single day to move forward on your path, wherever it may take you with the earth. And so connection to source, again, for those who are new, it is on the website. It is the most accessible thing. It is free of charge, so there's no excuse, please, to not do this very simple yet very important exercise. 10 minutes a day. So there's that. And also, some of you are still kind of shopping around. They're still saying, oh, well, let me see what this other person saying and what this book says and what this other thing is doing, and that's good, fine, it's totally up to you. But the point is, again, you are, to me, it's like a waste of time when there is really no more time to waste. To me, time's up. This is the time to decide that I want to ascend, whatever my form of ascension is going to be. It is my ascension. It is aligned with my awakening. It is aligned with who I really am. It is aligned with my own enlightenment, with my spiritual awakening. And so this is my time to decide that is what I'm choosing to focus on. And the way to do that is with my original home, which is source. And so what happens is that if you waste more time, or if you kind of still are thinking, let me think about this, or let me just, I don't know, you find, so many people find ways to distract yourself. You keep distracting yourself. What happens is that your signal is going all over the place. So it's like 1 minute you're saying, I want to ascend, and the other minute is saying, wait a minute, let me check out what the neighbors are doing or something. And so it's like your focus, your intent is not clear, because you're sending a signal to the universe. You're saying, I'm here to ascend and to bring humanity to another level. And the next minute you're saying, well, let me check out what's going on next door. It's in terms of energetic signal, or your mind not being focused, it is simply not helping. So what do we do today? As of now, we focus on meditating properly, focusing on aligning our mind energy, our consciousness with the frequency of source, and we just do that. And when we do that, the guidance comes, the information comes, and we will know exactly what to do moving forward, okay? On a more practical level, as you can see, also ask for your guidance in terms of what you should be doing in the meantime, in terms of, again, we talked about if you should be moving, if you should be, making sure you have food and water supplies and things like that. All of this comes with clarity if you allow yourself to remain aligned with source frequency in that pure state. You will hear, you will receive clear guidance if you remain in this alignment. And if you're kind of wobbly all over the place, of course it's very difficult. All right, so let me answer a couple questions, then we'll get on with the global meditation. So somebody's asking about having body aches and pains, and someone else also emailed me earlier about having physical pains. It is all about the reconfiguration. You see, just like the tectonic plates are being moved around, it's also in the same way your bones and your structure in your body are also being affected in this way. So if you have aches and pains, that is the case. Also, if you suddenly feel dizzy, if you have dizzy spells and things like that, also these come from the magnetic poles shifting suddenly, affecting you. Of course, it depends on your geographical location and what exactly is occurring at the time. So these are some of the symptoms, physical symptoms that you may be experiencing. Someone else is asking about relationship. It seems that many relationships seem to be coming to an end. I've seen this with many couples close to me. Is this part of what's happening? Of course, it is all part of the shifting. Some of you are aligning with truth, and others are choosing to remain with the old paradigm. And the more you continue through this year, the two are not going to be coexisting anymore. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot waste your time anymore. You have to decide a new paradigm, old paradigm. And if some of your friends are being very clinging on to the old paradigm, you're simply going to have to move on. And that's why you will see some relationship break up at this time. And for those, again, who are just hearing this for the first time, we talked about the people who are not understanding or not realizing what is really happening on the earth. And, you have the fears that they'll be left behind and stuff like that. But we've talked about how by default, many individuals will simply like I said, this is a huge opportunity on the earth plane to move everyone to the higher frequency by default. But in a 3D way, they may or may not understand it. You need to focus on yourself and bring that higher frequency to others in that way. Because if you're confused, it's not going to help others. Okay, for those who have ascend this time around and choose to stay on the earth, I assume we will be able to help others much more powerfully, and it will be a lot easier for us to create. Of course, that's exactly the point of those who are staying on the earth and vibrating at the higher frequency. So that is precisely the purpose. Will you be able to reincarnate back into the old grid? It's an interesting question. Why would you want to? Because you see, what happens is that the idea is that from the other side, so to speak, you will be able to see what the grid system, what reality there is on each planet. And so you'll be able to see very clearly the old grid system. And since you are simply leaving this grid system, it simply would not serve a purpose, would not serve you, serve any purpose for you to go back to the old paradigm. And so I doubt that you would want to do that. It's not impossible, but I doubt that you will. Of course, there is going to be the old grid going on at the same time. Yes, exactly. That's what I just said. It sounds like our families will be separated since we are all different and will be making different choices. Will this separation make the choice difficult? It is up to you how you perceive that. And again, this is the old paradigm also, how families are really created and connected, and how the values of what a family should be like, should look like, all of that is part of the conditioning of this life on earth. And so it's very, very difficult to transition and at the same time watch, in other words, experience the 3D reality every day and transition, because you have all these things going on inside you. So it's one of those things. That's why I said you're making it harder on yourself if you're wasting too much time. What you should be doing is, if you were to focus on source energy and bring that meditation, do that connection in the morning, for example, everything will be easier, because you will be able to bring clarity to your family members, you see, and you will be without the emotional charge, because then you're connected to them. There's all these emotions, all these memories. It's very, very confusing. You can't really have guidance and help others if you are an emotional mess. So that's why you have to raise your vibration to a place of detachment. And I'm talking about healthy detachment. I'm not talking about lack of compassion. That is not what I'm saying. And so when you raise your vibration, in fact, you are in full compassion when you raise your vibration. And so that's why you start your day with the connection, and you allow all of your relationship, including your family members, to simply be what they need to be. Allow them to be where they need to be. Focus on the bigger picture and know that this is an individual opportunity for everyone to ascend. If they're not going to hold your hand in a 3D sense, it doesn't mean they're not going to ascend. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to stop the drama and the emotional confusion of we all have to hold hands and be together and do everything together and always, if not everybody's happy exactly at the same time, then something's wrong. You have to let go and trust that each individual is going to be guided, is going to go to where they need to go. And you will be more helpful to them if you raise your vibration. Make sense? Okay. So we hear that we will go through a period of 3 days of darkness or 30 hours, as if you have gone blind. When the mind channels are being plugged or unplugged. Everybody is going to have a different experiences. So that's why it doesn't really matter. Everybody on the earth is going to be affected one way or another. Let me give you a very simple example. Of course, it's going to be a lot more than that. But the tsunami that happened in Japan, of course, the people who were there, it wasn't a very fun time. Obviously, we can see their struggle and their suffering, but it's in their own way, right? But then, what about the ones who were not in it, but that maybe they had somebody, their family member who were there, or their loved ones or something, or their children, or even their animals, who were there. That's another experience. What about the rest of us watching? Of course, it's not the same. I'm not saying that it's the same amount of suffering, but it's another form of suffering. It's another form of struggle. Everybody is affected. And in fact, for those who are extremely sensitive, felt this jolt and experienced a very, very difficult physical time. And so what is better? Is that you feel for 3-4 days almost sick, or that you are in it? It's just a different kind of side of the coin, or different ways of experiencing the same thing. So I don't think that everybody will have the exact same thing as you are suggesting. Okay. I've been feeling a lot of shifting and twisting inside my body, physical. Of course, that's what I just said. You're going to feel exactly what I just said. May I join you? I'm not sure what that means. May I join you where? Ben, please be specific. Okay. How about small children? If one has children, how are they affected by our work? If we do our daily connection, will this help our children too? Or are the ones being born now already holding this new higher frequency? Of course, just like anyone who's around you in your physical space, if you are doing the connection and you are bringing this higher vibration to everyone around you. So if they're your children, especially if they're newborn, then they will be connected. In fact, it's very simple. When somebody is extremely angry and in a really, really bad place, and they enter your physical space, you're going to feel it. You feel really bad. And that's because they are bringing this really low vibration to your physical space. So in the same way, when you are connecting, and you are bringing this really, really high vibration without even you doing anything, or saying anything. By the fact that you are connected to this higher frequency, then everyone around you, of course, including your children, will be affected and will be tapping into this higher frequency spontaneously. Okay? All right, good. I think I've answered the questions. Let me see who else here. Okay, if you don't have any more questions, we are going to now do a global meditation. In this meditation, we're going to ask that the process that is occurring now continue to be facilitated, to be easier on everyone. Okay, another quick question. What about the people with psychiatric disorders and Ascension? In the same way, John, like I said, there are people, I mentioned the people who are not aware of any of this stuff we're talking about, and they don't even believe in it. And like I said, it is their individual connection that is allowing them to transition in a spontaneous way and to ascend in a spontaneous way. Like I said, this is an opportunity. Normally they wouldn't do it this way. Normally they have to go through the whole cycles and this and that, but this is a very special case, unprecedented anywhere, in fact, in this universe and others. And so they will be assisted. And so, like I said, that earlier I said about distraction, this is a little bit also, you have to begin to discern between being compassionate and loving and wasting your time or being distracted out of fear, meaning the fear of really focusing on you. Many of you are looking right and left and worried about everyone else because you, out of distraction, I'm not saying everyone, but many, out of distraction, because it is harder to look at you, look at yourself and really focus on where you're going. What have you done? Where are you in your own awakening? How are you? Are you ascending? How are you ascending? What is your asking? What is your connection to Creator? How do you feel about what is happening? And how do you intend to create your reality and the next? And so on and so forth. So instead of really focusing on you, you are focusing on and right and left and distracting yourself and thinking that you're helping. Again, this is the old programming. This kind of sacrifice, poor me, this helpless kind of belief systems on the earth, very emotional, needy kind of old program that we're still kind of stuck into. So make sure you discern that. Make sure you are still in full compassion and unconditional love, and yet are able to detach in a healthy way so that you can assist others on a much higher level than the normal or the normal human or old paradigm way. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another quick question. What if you have to do on a daily basis with someone who is very lost and negative and unbalanced all the time? Same thing. You're just going to have to let go and trust that there is a bigger picture and each being is going to be assisted. That's what I'm saying. Don't waste your time. You cannot ascend and help others if you are focusing on others. So you focus on you and trust that they will definitely be taken care of. All right, here we go. So we're going to do this meditation for us individually to remain focused, to remain clear, to receive the guidance that we really, really need at this time on all levels, on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level, to continue to move with our consciousness expansion for ourselves, for humanity, and for the planet. We are not here to change things according to what we think should be happening. For example, we are not here to stop the tectonic plates from moving. Do you understand? Some people think that we should avoid this earthquake and avoid this volcano. The earth needs to reconfigure itself, and just like when you eat something bad, you have to, you have to change, you have to clean your body, your system. The earth has to do the same. And so if we don't allow the natural order of things to happen, we are not helping. We have to stop looking at things from the human 3D limited perspective and expand into our higher consciousness and trust that we are working with the divine order. The divine order has the bird's eye view and is taking everything into account, is taking your well-being into account, is taking your children's well-being into account, but also the earth. So please, let's shift into this higher frequency, this higher perspective, and let's all work together, okay?